A very good morning to one and all. A warm welcome to our chief guests, dignitaries, delegates from India, friends of India in Kuwait, speakers of today, members who joined us today, and media fraternity. On behalf of Embassy of India, Kuwait, I welcome all of you to the inaugural session of India-Kuwait Investment Conference, which is being organized in association with Indian Business and Professional Council, with the support of Kuwait Chambers of Commerce and Industry and Union of Investment Companies. Thank you for all. Let us begin our event with a video on emerging India. Thank you. May I now invite Ambassador of India to Kuwait, His Excellency Dr. Adarsh Swaika, to deliver his remarks. Welcome, sir.
His Excellency Mr. Mohammad Al-Nizi, Under-Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, His Excellency Mr. Ghanem Al-Ghanaman, Managing Director, KIA, Mr. Diral Al-Ghanem, Board Member, KCCI, Mr. Saleh Al-Salmi, Chairman, UIC, Mr. Gurvinder Singh Lamba, Chairman, Indian Business and Professional Council, distinguished speakers and panelists from Kuwait, distinguished delegates from India, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning. I welcome you all to today's India-Kuwait Investment Conference, Unleashing Synergies. I take this opportunity to thank all our partners, the Indian Business and Professional Council, who has worked tirelessly with the Embassy over the last few months, the KCCI, and the Union of Investment Companies for making this event possible today. I also acknowledge the support and presence of Managing Director of KIA and his team for this conference. I thank the representatives from Department of Promotion of Industry and Trade of India, Invest India, National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, and Confederation of Indian Industry for traveling all the way from India for participating in this conference. I deeply appreciate the presence of distinguished representatives of big business houses, investment companies, government officials, other organizations, and our friends from media who could be the possible end users of today's conference. And last but not the least, my embassy team for their hard work in putting this all together. Ladies and gentlemen, This is not a normal investment promotion event because it is one between one of the oldest and most active erstwhile maritime trading countries in the region with an ambitious Vision 2035 and the fastest growing major economy in the world. And I say that because there is an enormous change actually taking place in both our countries and in our capabilities. And the challenge for us is how do we see that as an opportunity? How do we actually find the contacts, the touch points, the viability, the business case, really to make the best use of it? History is not just history, but a beacon of learning from our successes and failures in the past. The history of India-Kuwait relations is a history worth repeating in its new avatar. Merchants and traders from India and Kuwait have known each other for longer than 200 years, and their understanding, trust, and confidence in each other has shaped our bilateral relationship as it stands today. It was pre-oil era, even before the modern means of transport and communication were available. The circumstances may have changed over time, but the essence of that collaboration remains. That spirit of bygone era of cross-Arabian ocean trade has a lot to offer us today. Investment cooperation is one such area of immense potential, and the last few years have shown how this win-win cooperation can benefit both sides, ensuring good returns for one and capital and infrastructure development for the other. That is why it is important to find the synergies between the growth stories of our two countries, which have been historically connected not only through peoples, but through constant exchange of good ideas and culture. Friends, one will have a natural and simple question that if one has to invest anywhere or somewhere, why India? Apart from the historical, cultural, and people-to-people connect, does India offer a political and financially attractive investment climate for safe and good returns? I would say a big yes on many accounts. And my reasons are manifold and the following. And some you just saw in the video presentation before I made my remarks. Among the many reasons, India is the fastest growing economy in the world, fifth largest currently, third largest in terms of purchasing power parity, and projected to be a $5 trillion economy by 2030. It is expected to be the only major economy to keep growing at well above 6% per annum in the foreseeable future, and thus will remain one of the major growth engines of the world. India's FDI inflows have increased 20 times in the last 20 years, with cumulative FDI inflow of $871 billion and highest FDI last year of $85 billion. India's Make in India initiative is to position itself as a major global manufacturing hub, a bigger trader, and a stronger service provider. The productivity-linked investment scheme with an outlay of $26 billion in 13 priority sectors is a major step in this regard. India's large and growing middle-class population. The massive infrastructure drive underway that opens up possibilities for investments in various infrastructure sectors of India. The doubling of national highways, electrification of rail lines, airports, and capacity augmentation of seaports in the last 9-10 years is a good indicator. There are many other technical, financial, and regulatory reasons as to why one should seriously look at India, but I leave it for my distinguished colleagues from India to give you the statistics and analysis of the same. But what would be India in 2047 on completion of 100 years after independence and in the next 25 years of what we call the Amrit Kal period as per current projections? India would be the second largest economy of the world with an estimated GDP of $26 billion. It will be a developed country with an estimated $15,000 GDP per capita. And it will have a significant advantage owing to its strong domestic demand, digitalization, largest talent pool globally, financial inclusion, global competitiveness, and sustainability transition. Friends, in the last 9-10 years, the government of India, again I say this particularly for the benefit of our Kuwaiti colleagues, has undertaken a number of significant economic reforms. And these are actually of interest to you. If you are looking and evaluating opportunities in India, because they do include incentivizing production, in doubling down on infrastructure and logistics, in rationalizing taxation, in moving the economy from the more informal to the organized sector, and in cleaning up and resourcing the financial system. We would like our friends in Kuwait to appreciate this transformation which is underway, because its compounding strength will enable both of us to strengthen each other's strategic autonomy if we can translate this into economic cooperation. Though today is a day of speaking about investment cooperation, it is also a fact that investments are inextricably linked to trade as well. Apart from the traditional hydrocarbon exports to India and import of food and some other engineering items and chemicals from India, our trade basket has rather been limited. Our bilateral trade in the range of USD 12.5 billion today has a huge scope for diversification. Clearly, there are very good possibilities in pharmaceuticals and medical devices, automobiles and related spares, electronic goods and components, high-efficiency solar PV modules, textiles and apparel, white goods, ceramics, and so on. I would encourage the captains of Kuwaiti businesses present here today to look at the quality and cost competitiveness that Indian products offer today. Ladies and gentlemen, India's economic partnership has grown tremendously with countries in the Gulf region, particularly over the last few years. 2 years ago, India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement was signed. We expect positive developments with regard to India-GCC FTA negotiations as well. All these provide greater possibilities for a stronger India-Kuwait economic partnership. With Kuwait, we have one of the oldest and strongest links in the region. We have stood with each other in global forums, in our times of need, and have always stepped ourselves for dealing with challenges together. Most recently, we fought COVID-19 pandemic together. That was a true demonstration of friendship and solidarity. We would like to see more Kuwaiti businesses establish a foothold in India and make it the regional hub. And we're ready to extend all possible facilitation. Today, we will also hear from those who have made this possible. I am fully convinced that we will be able to tap and unravel the unrealized potential of bilateral trade and investments in the near future. We have all the necessary ingredients for a strong and robust trade and investment cooperation, whether it is the political will and foresight, economic strength, investment climate, geographical proximity, cultural affinity, and dynamic people-to-people contacts. One of the main impediments has been the information exchange gap, and I'm sure today's event will go a long way in addressing it. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. I now call upon Mr. Gurvinder Lamba, Chairman IBPC, to address the gathering.
Good morning, friends. I can see some smiling and some friendly faces in the crowd here. Ambassador Saab, you have given a wonderful blueprint on which way India is heading, and that was really well explained and well shared, and I hope that everybody will take a note of that. So I would like to start with welcoming all our guests today. Thank you for being with us. Our Deputy Minister of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Mohammed Al-Nazi, Mr. Dirar Al-Ghanem, Mr. Ghanem Al-Ghreiman, MD of KIA, Mr. Saleh Al-Sami of UIC, and so many of our esteemed guests. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And also would like to welcome our panelists today, Mr. Faisal Serkhu, Mr. Abdul Aziz Logani, Mr. Fuad Al-Ghanem, Mr. Dari Al-Badr, and Mr. James Minato. And last but not least, would like to welcome our friends from India, the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and the Confederation of Indian Industries, and also a host of our Indian organizations who have decided to join the government councils. Let me introduce myself. I am Gurvinder Singh Lamba, Chairman of the Indian Business Council, Indian Business and Professional Council. And our team in Kuwait consists of our Vice Chairman, Mr. Kaiser Shakar, Secretary, Mr. Soli Matthew, our Joint Secretary, Mr. K.P. Suresh, and Treasurer, Mr. Sunit Arora. So IBPC operates under the patronage of the Indian Ambassador to Kuwait, as most business organizations do in Kuwait. They operate under their respective embassies. So this serves as a platform for Indian business persons and diaspora in Kuwait, offering both cultural and professional exposure and interaction. We are grateful to the rulers of Kuwait and to the larger Kuwaiti community for supporting and enabling the growth of the Indian community in Kuwait over so many decades. Like Ambassador Saab mentioned, that nearly 200 years of interaction. So IBPC would like to take this opportunity today to give a special thanks to the Gulf Bank of Kuwait for its generous contribution for over many years, and we hope that they will continue to support us in our activities. Especially, Ambassador Saab had mentioned about the COVID pandemic. I must say that IBPC also played its part along with many other Indian organizations. We contributed to the Amiri Diwan and to the Kuwait Red Crescent Society, and because they were very active and proactive rather in providing humanitarian help and relief. And also like to thank our Kuwaiti friends for providing huge oxygen relief to India during COVID. That was really well appreciated. And going forward, IBPC team, recently in January, we had taken 65 delegates to the Indian, it's called the Pravasi Bharti Divas, which is NRI, non-resident Indian forum that is conducted by the Prime Minister's office in India. And this has been going on for the last 20 years. This was the 17th one. And this forum basically is to acknowledge the contributions of the Indian diaspora globally and to further encourage investments into India. And frankly, during the attendance, we were very fortunate to meet with quite a few industrialists. And the one thing that the mood that we got to know from everybody was India's on the move. And that's exactly what our Ambassador Saab had expressed to all of you today. So a bit of history is India's foray into the future started with our former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, back in 1991. He was then the finance minister. And Dr. Singh is credited with kickstarting the economic reforms, putting India on track towards development. And over the past decade, our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, and his team of economic, industrial, and financial experts have taken India to the newer heights of progress. The PM's Make in India initiative has been executed by nearly all the states in India, and with them providing each state, actually, when we were during PBD also, each state is providing support and facilities to the investor to invest with confidence in India. They're offering you all kinds of tax holidays, and you've seen some of the presentation earlier today. So India today is an emerging key player in the global value chain with its ever-growing skilled workforce, IT solutions, and expansion of its manufacturing sector in the pharmaceutical, chemical, automotive, aerospace, agriculture, and many other industries. Foreign direct investments, in particular, have played a crucial role in the economic growth. So today, you will hear from the experienced professionals from both Kuwait and India, as well as observe a panel discussion, which is being moderated by our friend, CFO of KIPCO, Sunny Bhatia. I'm sure you will all have a thought to take back with you from today's interaction. Thank you.
I now invite on stage Mr. Saleh Al-Selmi, Chairman of Union of Investment Companies, to address the gathering. Welcome, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the India-Kuwait Investment Conference, Unleashing Synergies, which aims to strengthen the economic ties between India and Kuwait to promote mutual investment opportunities in various sectors. This conference is a significant milestone in the long-standing relation between our two countries that date back, countries sharing a common history of trade, commerce, and cultural exchange. It is important to remember that the ties between the two countries have been based on mutual respect, shared value, and a common vision for a brighter future. India has always been a reliable partner for Kuwait, and this partnership has only grown stronger over the years. Today, India is one of the largest trading partners for Kuwait, with bilateral trade exceeding $12 billion during 2022. Add to that, Kuwait is considered one of the largest energy suppliers to India. The Kuwait investment have also played a significant role in enhancing the bilateral relationship between the two nations, which exceeded $5.5 billion. The Kuwait Investment Authority and other Kuwaiti entities have been at the forefront of this investment wave, contributing to India's economic progress and development. I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight the significant contribution of Indian people in Kuwait, who are considered the largest expat community in the country. They have played a remarkable role in development of Kuwait's economy and have contributed eminently to the country's growth and prosperity. Their skill and knowledge have made a remarkable impact on Kuwait business and social landscape. The India-Kuwait Investment Conference provides a unique platform for investors, entrepreneurs, and businesses from both countries to explore the various investment opportunities available and to foster partnership that can mutually benefit with both nations. It is an excellent opportunity to share insight, experiences, and best practices in various sectors and create a roadmap for future collaborations. The Union of Investment Companies is committed to supporting and promoting investment opportunities that can bring about sustainable economic growth and prosperity. We are delighted to be associated with this conference and look forward to exploring the possibilities that can emerge from this event. In the end, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Embassy of India in Kuwait and His Excellency Dr. Adrash Suwaika, Ambassador of India to Kuwait, the Indian Business and Professional Council, and the Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry for their collaboration in organizing this conference. I wish all participants a productive and fruitful discussions, and I hope that this conference will continue to build up on the strong foundation of our relationship. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I call upon Mr. Pankaj Kumar Tandon, CEO and Joint Managing Director of Jackson Group and CII representative, to address us. Welcome.
Distinguished guests from India and Kuwait, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. It's my privilege to be with you at India-Kuwait Investment Conference. We thank the Embassy of India, Kuwait for hosting the important forum. I would also like to thank Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Union of Investment Companies for supporting the forum. A very special welcome to His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Othman, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industries of Kuwait. So we are greatly honored to have you here with us in this forum, and we work towards strengthening and deepening India-Kuwait economic ties. I would like to thank our Ambassador, Dr. Adarsh Sweka, for your support and guidance to CII, and I'm sure under your leadership, our bilateral economic relationship would reach new heights. Today, I'm leading a delegation representing a spectrum of sectors from skill development, infrastructure, energy, including renewable energy, healthcare and IT, and telecom, which offers immense scope of fruitful partnerships. Today's conference provides an ideal platform to interact with business leaders for exploring new opportunities. Trade between India and Kuwait reaching an all-time high of US dollars 12.24 billion in the financial year ending 22 sets the timing for this opportune event. Key to improved economic ties in the recent years is the growing people-to-people connect, and there is a sense of optimism that India and Kuwait can continue the upward trajectory in the coming years. The strong and vibrant, a million-plus Indian community here remains a living bridge between the two countries. Excellency, India is currently a strong economic growth phase, and a strategic agenda will catapult in further strengthening the India-Kuwait partnership. While we have seen the video, and His Excellency also mentioned there are many positive pointers which are attractive enough to showcase Indian economy. The few that I would like to highlight. India is now the largest country by population and 7th largest by area, which is a fact. Each state in India equals a population of some country in the world. That is the size of what we call a demographic dividend we talk about. Resilient India could clock a 7% GDP growth amidst the headwinds post-pandemic and amidst the war. While we see that in the coming times, most of the populations of developed economies will age, India's working age population will have an incremental change of 183 million, the advantage of which can be reaped with education and skill development. 40% of Indian population would be moving to urban clusters by 2030, which will, with growing middle class and upper middle class, continues to create opportunities for infrastructure development and growing market. India ranks at fifth in share of global manufacturing output, which is further pushed by Government of India schemes of PLI and Make in India. PLI schemes worth US $30 billion, announced for 14 sectors, will catalyze additional production of another 4 to 6%. India is improving physical infrastructure and logistics efficiency, a very important factor for business. Average turnaround time at major ports have come down from 5.2 days in 1 decade to 2.18 days. Massive roads, highway constructions, high-speed corridors are bringing markets near to the manufacturing centers. The world is going digital, and robust growth in telecom subscribers from around 600 million in a decade from 2010 has reached 1.1 billion in 2022. The broadband subscribers have increased from 8.8 million to 788 million in 10 years. The UPI transactions increased to 59.5 million, worth Indian rupees 100 trillion. Countries like Belgium, Netherlands, France, Switzerland, Vietnam, Nepal have partnered with India to allow UPI payments in their countries, while NRIs living abroad in Singapore, Australia, Canada, Hong Kong, UAE, USA are allowed to transact on UPI. Another growth story adding value is the startup ecosystem. India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after US and China. And in coming years, by 2025, the Indian unicorns will grow to around 200 with a cumulative valuation of around $700 billion, which will offer tremendous opportunities for investors in sectors like education, technology, fintech, health, software, and services. India is working towards sustainable development. It is fourth largest producer of renewable energy and solar power. It ranks best amongst G20 countries on climate change performance index. It takes leadership role through International Solar Alliance to unlock US $1 trillion investment by 2030. Sectors including sustainable mobility, infrastructure, renewable, agro-processing, water, pharma are some of the areas that present themselves with very high potential. Service sectors which are knowledge-based are also open for exploring partnerships. While India and Kuwait have existing collaborations across a number of important sectors, businesses from both countries can leverage the overall vision of India at 100 and Kuwait's 2035 vision in harnessing the potential business opportunities between our two countries. Now let me emphasize, based on these brief points, few areas of which can be explored for cooperation. One is supply chain resilience. We have seen broken supply chain in the last few years, and that's how it is India with its manufacturing potential, with the schemes, with the policy reforms, gives a key alternative in terms of diversified import sources, and that can be explored by the businessmen here. In technology partnership, India has emerged as a hub of startups and tech-related entrepreneurship. CIA, with its recently established Center of Excellence for Innovation in Entrepreneurship and Startups, would be happy to collaborate. Digital transition offers huge potential. Other areas are EVs, renewable green hydrogen, food parks, and other similar businesses. I understand Kuwait mainly depends on desalination plants for freshwater needs. At the current rate of increase in demand for freshwater, large investment at close intervals is necessary to augment the capacity of the country. Hence, a strategic partnership can be of value. CII has a Center of Excellence on water, would be happy to work with Kuwait and explore solutions and strategies concerning water security, water and wastewater management. Nothing to brag about CII. It has been established in 1895, which has outreach to 300,000 enterprises and 600 sectoral and subject-based committees. It has 62 offices across India, 10 centers of excellence, which are working on quality, manufacturing, green building and energy conservation, water, logistics, leadership management, small and medium enterprises, competitiveness, sustainable development, food agriculture. We have 8 overseas offices which can provide institutional partnership to different countries. We also have a regional representative located in Dubai for the Gulf region. CI and Kuwait has certain degree of relationship, although it needs to be further enhanced. Going forward, would like our bilateral engagement to go beyond trade and investment and encompass innovation, entrepreneurship, sustainability domain, which will derive mutually productive outcomes. With the support of governments of both countries, we as Indian industry look forward to a facilitative business environment to further intensify our interactions and engagements and work towards beneficial partnership for businesses both sides. Have a wonderful day. Look forward for a very fruitful interaction today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tandon. I now invite on stage Mr. Padmanabh Sinha, Executive Director and CEO, National Fund for Investment and Infrastructure, to tell us more about investments in India. Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, honorable dignitaries. It's a delight to be here. I'm going to use a few slides so that it's visually a little easier to understand what I'm talking about, given time is limited. So request if we could load up the presentation, please. So I represent the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, which is a sovereign-anchored and sovereign-linked collaborative investment platform. The idea is to channelize attractive investment opportunities in the best of industries in India. And given we marry the best of the government side of it with 49% government ownership and some marquee investors from around the world, we are a unique platform, young but growing rapidly and providing insights as well as investment opportunities into some very attractive investment opportunities in India. So if you could switch to the next page, please. I'm not going to spend too much time on the India macro since some of the preceding speakers have spoken about it, but I'll just touch upon 2 or 3 things which are of particular importance as far as investment opportunities go. The first is the digital stack as well as the overall digitization wave in India. India has one of the lowest data rates in the world and the largest data consumption patterns. And built on top of the public tech stack rolled out by the government, there is a whole wave of digitization initiatives undertaken by the private sector as well, including in areas like lending, in commerce, in banking, and a host of aspects of life, which enhance productivity in the Indian economy as well. The second is the investments linked to the whole decarbonization goals in India, be it in the production of renewable energy or the EV rollout in India and other related investment opportunities. And the third is the broader formalization and reforms going on in India, including in the manufacturing space, which is more recent in the Indian context, where it ties in well with the whole reconfiguration of global supply chains and is potentially creating market-leading and highly competitive businesses built out of India to serve not just the Indian markets, but for global exports as well. So those 3 trends provide for very interesting opportunities of investing into companies in India. While the overall GDP growth rates are attractive, as spoken about earlier, some of these companies are gaining market share thanks to their efficiency, productivity, etc., and therefore growing at even faster rates. Could you move on to the next page, please? This is a bit about NIF. As I mentioned earlier, we are sovereign anchored, but the idea was that it must address commercially attractive opportunities in India, and there should be a multiplier effect to the government capital by bringing in marquee investors from around the world. And that's what we have attempted to do through NIF, which was set up only in 2017, so we just completed a little over 5 years. It's a collaborative investment platform, and we have partners from North America, from Middle East, from Singapore, Australia, and even Japan recently. And these are the best quality investors who choose to partner through the platform. The idea being the sovereign linkages obviously give us better insights into what are the attractive growth opportunities in India, and also put in place the best governance standards in running this platform. In terms of the ownership of NIIF, as I mentioned, it's 49% owned by the Indian government. Another 4% is owned by the top Indian private sector financial institutions, HDFC, ICICI, Kotak and Axis, to give it overall Indian control at 53. And 47% is actually held by shareholders, which are primarily sovereign and pension funds from around the world. So it's a partnership which brings together unparalleled ecosystems, which are rarely seen in any other platform previously. The next page, please. We started off with a core infrastructure fund, which did a final raise in 2020, and it's about 50% deployed now at $2.3 billion. And we've created some very interesting platforms in energy, in transportation, and in digital, which target contracted cash flows and have some very high quality partners there as well. And then we have a private equity or growth equity platform, which targets businesses in new age manufacturing, in social sectors, including healthcare, education, agri, and then tech, as well as certain parts of financial services as well. We also have a fund of funds business and a recently announced bilateral fund with the Japan Bank of International Cooperation. Can we move to the next page, please? On the, I think you missed a page. It's okay. Yeah. So on the core infrastructure fund, we've got a renewable energy platform aggregating to about 5 gigawatts, including the capacity under development. We've got a ports and logistics platform, which is a joint venture with DP World. Roads, smart meters, and we're just starting with data center business, as well as an airports business. Next one, please. From a private equity or growth equity perspective, being the sovereign anchored fund, but with other marquee shareholders, we are a preferred partner with many of the high-growing, high-quality entrepreneur-led businesses in India, as well as run by corporations, both Indian and multinational. And the idea is that our deep engagement of the Indian policy framework gives us better insights into which sectors, which businesses are likely to grow faster, and enables us to do better sourcing of deals and better diligence of deals than anyone else. And of course, then we add a lot of value to these businesses and help them sort of expand faster and grow more efficiently and expand margins as we go. So we were investors in a hospital business where we saw in a 2-year period that we invested in, we saw the margins grow from 17% to 25%, which is world-leading standards in profitability margins. The next page, please. In terms of some of the trends and how they flow into our investment strategy, I think I covered a bit of it, but the demographic dividend with the young labor force, lots of engineers, workers available at very competitive wages, and of course, with a growing middle class, more spend on social aspects or lifestyle related aspects, from healthcare to education, as well as food. These are all trends we play through our funds and play effectively. And therefore, these are some of the sectors that we see very exciting growth opportunities in the near term. So with that, I just thought I'll give you a little bit flavor about the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund and how it can be a suitable platform to partner with for investing into India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sinha, for a presentation on NIIF. I now request His Excellency Mr. Ghanem Al Ghunaiman, Managing Director of Kuwait Investment Authority, to speak a few words. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor to be part of this event today, and as I'm going to be speaking about the KIA business in India, I will be just more focusing on the investments that we have been done in the past and what's the outlook for our investments in India. And as other speakers previously expressed their thanks, I will also express my thanks to the embassy in Kuwait embassy in India, Indian embassy in Kuwait for putting this together. Today, I am honored to share with you some of those insights of the Kuwait Investment Authority in India. Kuwait has always considered India to be strategic partners and a key economic player in a global arena. India is a growing economy with vast potential, and with the KIA being interested in investing in India. Over the years, India has become a hub for many industries, and the KIA shown a key interest in exploring investment opportunities in various sectors, such as energy, infrastructures, and real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, as many of you are aware, that KIA is one of the world's largest and oldest sovereign wealth fund. The KIA has well-diversified portfolio across all assets and regions, and has been actively participating in Indian growth over the past few years. The KIA established their official relationship with India and Indian companies in the early 90s. The initial investment was mere of $35 million to reach today a double-digit billions of dollars invested in the public market and in the private market as well. Here are some of those major investments that we have done in India in the past. In 2011, the KIA created a standalone equities mandate to invest in the Indian public markets. All those portfolios been doing fantastically. We get good returns of it. We intention to raise more money into those public market as this investment's been even performing better than the benchmark. In 2015, the KIA subscribed to a 60-year-long foreign currency convertible bonds issued by GMR, the flagship company of the GMR Group, to expand Indian infrastructure's footprint. In 2016, the KIA invested in a Rigorous Power Venture, a joint venture co-sponsored by the Indian Tata Power Company and ICICI Ventures. It was a unique investment stance in the stressed assets in power sector. The KIA noticed over the years Indian resilience and resources, macroeconomic stability, and the GDP is growing at a healthy rate, driven forward by the young and growing population. To put this into perspective, KIA investments in India have doubled within the short period starting from March 2020 to present today. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are looking forward for our investment in India, I reaffirm that KIA committed to explore more opportunities to cooperate with India, and I am confident that our investment relation will continue to grow from strengthening to strengthen and to play a crucial role in the foreign greater economic ties between Kuwait and India. India is viewed as one of the largest economic, most of the existing long-term investment opportunities, and I do look forward to invest more investments in India. As we have today at the meeting with NIIF, and we explore to them all of our investments, and we looking for all the presented opportunities to invest more money in India. and we will be continue partners with our counterparts in India to invest more in India, as long as all those investments are tied with our strategies and within our focus area. The sectors are, as we just mentioned, to be covered in many different sectors, but potentially we'll be investing more money into infrastructures, and then the other sectors, energy and other sectors, will follow at that time. Hopefully, will be myself and my team to be visiting in India one day to look into all those opportunities, and looking forward for more money to be invested in India. Thank you very much, and I wish for the event all the success.
Thank you, sir, for an insightful address and for hosting the delegation from India. I now request Mr. Dirar Yusuf Al Ghanem, Board Member, Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industries, to address the gathering. Welcome, sir.
HE Ambassador Sweka, Mr. Mohammed Al-Anizi, Excellencies and distinguished participants. On behalf of the Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I have the pleasure to participate in this India-Kuwait Investment Conference organized by the esteemed Embassy of India in Kuwait. This important event will contribute in energizing the bilateral economic relationship of our two friendly countries, highlighting the opportunities of business and investment environment in India. The history of commercial and social relations between India and Kuwait dates back to the mid-19th century, when the Indian rupee became the legal tender in Kuwait, and our fleet of sailing dhows was the most important trading link between India and the Arabian Gulf, with Kuwait trade offices in Bombay, Kolkata, and other Indian cities. Since those days, Kuwaiti and Indian diplomatic and commercial offices, as well as traders and merchants of both countries, have resided and conducted business, promoting trade and investment. Trade delegations of Kuwait and India conduct regular exhibitions and conferences to promote investment and trade between the two countries. This important historical commercial relationship has steadily grown, as the bilateral trade exchanges show that India is one of the major trading partners with Kuwait, ranking 4th exporter in 2021. And the commercial exchange between the countries amounts to $2.3 billion in the year 2021. We aspire to further advance this relationship and encourage more effort to raise the trade volume and reinforce the economic ties between our countries. On its part, Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry will extend all possible cooperation towards promoting and achieving the mutual economic growth between India and Kuwait. Thank you, and we look forward to serving you to participate in this exciting challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. May I now invite on the stage our chief guest for the event, His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Al-Anizi, Under-Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, to address the gathering. Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. I convey you His Excellency greetings on behalf of Mr. Mohammed Al-Iban, the Ministry of Commerce, and his apologies, he's not can attend this conference. And I'll speak in Arabic as a protocol. Sorry for that. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة الحضور، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحضور الكريم، يطيب لي في مستهل حديثي أن أتوجه بالشكر الجزيل على توجيه الدعوة لنا للمشاركة في هذا الحدث الهام. إنه لمن دواعي سروري أن نلتقي معا اليوم للمشاركة في المؤتمر الهندي الكويتي للاستثمار، الذي نطمح أن يلعب دورا كبيرا في تنمية وتطوير العلاقات الثنائية بين دولة الكويت وجمهورية الهند الصديقة، لا سيما العلاقات الاقتصادية والتجارية الاستثمارية التي تعتبر هي الباب لفتح العلاقات بين المجتمعات. السيدات والسادة الحضور، أهلا وسهلا بكم جميعا في هذا المؤتمر الهام والمميز بين الكويت والهند، الذي يعد ونرى أنه منصة مثالية لتعزيز العلاقات الاستثمارية وتوطيد الصداقة بين البلدين. كما نعرف أن العلاقات بين الكويت والهند تعود إلى قرون عديدة، والتي تم جعلها رسمية في منتصف القرن التاسع عشر. كانت الهند تمثل موردا هاما للتجارة الكويتية القديمة، حيث نشهد تحولا جديدا في هذه العلاقات، ونتمنى أن تتطور للروابط الاقتصادية والتجارية والاستثمارية بين البلدين بشكل متزايد ومثمر. أعتذر منكم، قد تكون الكلمة طويلة، لذلك أتمنى أن تطيلوا البال علينا. في ضوء ذلك، نحن هنا اليوم لنرى ونتطلع ونستكشف الفرص الاستثمارية التي تتاح في الكويت والهند، ونستعرض آخر التطورات في هذا الصدد. وأنني واثق بأن هذا المؤتمر سيشهد نقاشات مثمرة وفاعلة، وسيتم خلاله تعزيز التعاون والشراكة بين القطاعين الخاص والعام في البلدين، ونتطلع إلى رؤية نتائج إيجابية تعود بالنفع على الكويت والهند وشعبيهما. الحضور الكريم، قامت دولة الكويت باتخاذ العديد من الخطوات لتحسين بيئة الأعمال في البلاد، ومنها تبسيط إجراءات تأسيس الشركات وتقليل الوقت والجهد المطلوبين للحصول على التراخيص والتصاريح اللازمة للعمل، وأصبح كل شيء عن طريق البوابات الرقمية للرخص التجارية. كذلك تم تحسين القوانين واللوائح المتعلقة بالأعمال وتبسيطها لجعلها أكثر شفافية وسهولة في فهمها وتطبيقها، من أهمها إصدار قانون جديد للسجل التجاري. أيضا هناك دعم مالي يتم من خلال المشاريع الصغيرة والمتوسطة لتشجيع ريادة الأعمال وتوفير فرص العمل من خلال الصندوق الوطني لتنمية المشاريع الصغيرة والمتوسطة. كذلك نعمل حاليا على توفير أراضي صناعية للصناعات المحلية وتوفير فرص عمل، ونسعى أيضا لتوسيع الانفتاح الاقتصادي وتعزيز العلاقات مع دول أخرى لتعزيز التبادل التجاري وتوفير فرص الاستثمار وتبادل الخبرات المطلوبة لتحسين جودة بيئة الأعمال. أن هذه الخطوات وغيرها قد ساهمت بشكل كبير في تحسين بيئة الأعمال في الكويت، وجعلتها أكثر جاذبية للاستثمارات المحلية والأجنبية. ونهدف من هذه الخطوات أن تكون الكويت هي منطقة انطلاق لما يسمى آسيا الوسطى، العراق وإيران والدول المجاورة. العلاقات الكويتية والهندية شهدت نمواً كبيراً في السنوات الأخيرة، وخاصة فيما يتعلق بالتجارة والاستثمار، فقد بلغ حجم التجارة بين البلدين 2 مليار دولار وأكثر في العام 2021، بزيادة تعادل 25% عن عام 2020، وهو عام ما يسمى كوفيد. مع ذلك فإننا ندرك أن هناك العديد من الفرص الاستثمارية المتاحة بين البلدين التي تحتاج إلى تعزيز الجهود المشتركة لتحقيقها، ونحن هنا لتبادل الأفكار والتجارب والخبرات وللتعرف على المزيد من الفرص الاستثمارية. وأن حكومة الكويت تولي القطاع الخاص اهتماما كبيرا باعتباره أحد الأعمدة الرئيسية التي يعمل على تنشيط عملية النمو الاقتصادي، ويعود ذلك للرؤية المستقبلية لدولة الكويت لتحويلها إلى مركز مالي وتجاري في المنطقة جاذب للاستثمارات الأجنبية من خلال خلق مناخ استثماري ملائم والاستفادة من القوانين والتشريعات التجارية والاقتصادية، وفتح المجال أمام المستثمر الأجنبي للاستثمار بدولة الكويت والاستفادة من المزايا التي تقدمها هيئة تشجيع الاستثمار المباشر للمستثمرين الأجانب. الأخوة والأخوات الحضور، تمتلك الكويت العديد من المقومات التي تجعلها مركزاً إقليمياً للتجارة في المنطقة، أهمها الموقع الجغرافي المميز لدولة الكويت، الإطار القانوني والدستوري لدولة الكويت، كذلك الإطار القانوني والدستوري والاستقرار الاقتصادي مما يساهم بجعل الكويت بيئة جاذبة للأعمال التجارية. جميع هذه المقومات تهدف إلى جذب رأس المال الأجنبي وفق قانون 116 لسنة 2013 الذي يعطي المستثمر الأجنبي العديد من المميزات مثل الإعفاءات من ضريبة الدخل والإعفاء من كل توسع في الكيان الاستثماري بالإضافة إلى العديد من المميزات. الحضور الكرام، إن التحديات التي تواجه العلاقات الكويتية الهندية وكيف يمكن تجاوزها من أجل تعزيز الشراكة بين البلدين. من خلال هذه المؤتمر نأمل أن تكون من خلال هذا المؤتمر نأمل أن تكون هناك حلول لهذه التحديات ومواجهتها. فقد شهدت حركة التجارة العالمية في عام 2020 أهم حدث وهو جائحة كورونا، وهي جائحة عصفت بدول العالم وواجهت الدول العديد من التحديات التجارية والاقتصادية مما نتج عنه تراجع اقتصادي على مستوى العالمي. وكان أكبر تحدي هو الاختلالات في سلاسل التوريد التي شكلت تحدياً كبيراً على حركة التجارة العالمية، وهذا التحدي أعمق من كونه عرض وطلب فقط وإنما مرتبط بالتجارة اللوجستية. وخلال هذه التغييرات كان ولا زال على رأس الأولويات الأمن الغذائي، حيث سببت الإغلاقات والاختلالات في سلاسل التوريد قلقاً في استدامة الأمن الغذائي في دولة الكويت، لا سيما أن دولة الكويت تعتمد اعتماداً كبيراً على استيراد المواد الغذائية. ولكن استطاعت الدولة بتعاون جميع الجهات سواء الحكومية أو القطاع الخاص بإدارة هذه الأزمة وتوفير جميع المنتجات الأساسية. وهنا نستذكر الجهود الدولية لجمهورية الهند الصديقة، فقد لعبت الهند دورا مهما في الأمن الغذائي العالمي وتعتبر واحدة من أكبر مصدرين المواد الغذائية العالمية، كما تعتبر الهند أيضا مصدرا رئيسيا للمواد السلع الأساسية وأيضا السلع المكملة. وقدمت الهند المساعدة للعديد من الدول المتأثرة بالوباء، حيث قامت بإرسال فرق طبية ومواد طبية ولقاحات إلى العديد من الدول حول العالم، بما في ذلك الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وبريطانيا والمملكة المتحدة والبرازيل والأرجنتين والإمارات العربية المتحدة وجنوب أفريقيا وغيرها من الدول. وأيضا الهند كان دورها كبيرا في المشاركة في مبادرة كوفاكس العالمية للحصول على لقاحات فيروس كورونا، وكانت أحد الداعمين الرئيسيين للمنظمة الصحية العالمية في جهودها لمكافحة الوباء. في الختام أكرر شكري لمعالي الحضور على مشاركتهم في هذا المؤتمر، وإلى جميع من ساهم في الإعداد والتحضير له، متمنيا أن يكلل أعماله بالنجاح والتوفيق وأن يعود بالخير الكثير على الجانبين. وفي الختام أيضا أنقل لكم رسالة معالي الوزير اللي تو نقلها لي، هو دعمه الكامل لهذا المؤتمر وفعالياته لما فيه خير هذه بين البلدين إن شاء الله. شكرا.
Shukran li Sadatikum. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Ms. Astha Tyagi, HOD, Middle East and Africa from Invest India for a presentation on investing in India.
Thank you. Good afternoon to one and all present here today. Can I have my presentation up, please? A very good afternoon and namaskar to everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today in this August gathering. His Excellency Dr. Adarsh Swaika, Ambassador of India to Kuwait, His Excellency Mr. Ghanem Al Ghaneman, Managing Director, Kuwait Investment Authority, Mr. Dirar Al Ghanem, Board Member, KCCI, His Excellency, Mr. Mohammad Al-Nazi, Under-Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Rajat Saini, Director, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, ladies and gentlemen. We are truly grateful to the Embassy of India to have organized such an important event today, bringing all of us together on a unified platform. My name is Asta Tyagi. I represent Invest India, the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency of the Government of India. I will take the next 10 minutes, I'll try to be lesser than that, to take you through the India opportunity. I do know some numbers have already been stated by my colleagues. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, please bear with me because it'll put things in perspective for everyone. Next slide, please. Today, the world is looking at India to drive global growth. We are the world's economic powerhouse and the largest and the most stable democratic regime in the world. And the reason behind that is because India is firing on all its engines, on all the pillars of growth and development. And I'll briefly touch upon these in the forthcoming slide. In the last 75 years, the numbers of independent India have witnessed a meteoric rise. There has been a 100 times increase in GDP. Currently, as you know, India is a $3.5 trillion economy, and the pace of this growth is what is very interesting. The first trillion, ladies and gentlemen, took more than 60 years. The second $1 trillion took more than 8 years. The third trillion took 5 years. India has moved from number 10 to a number 5 position of GDP in absolute terms since 2015 up until now. Per capita has witnessed an almost 500 times growth since independence, along with a 500 times growth in exports. Talking about exports, India reported $770 billion of exports in the last fiscal of both merchandise and services, which is a 14% growth since the preceding fiscal. This has been possible due to the unprecedented growth in exports on a yearly basis, and it also outstrips the rate of growth of exports globally. India is the fastest growing economy at about 7% in the last fiscal, and we have the second largest working population of 522 million people with a median age of 28 years. And that is why, esteemed guests, India is one of the most preferred FDI destinations across the world. Since 2000 until year to date, India has received FDI worth $764 billion. Please note that 80% of that FDI has come in the last 90 months since 2014. It has come from 100 countries across 72 sectors in more than 30 states and union territories of the Government of India. And what is most remarkable is that 98% of that FDI has come in through the automatic route, without any government intervention. India has set a new FDI record every year for the last 8 consecutive years since 2015, recording $83.5 billion in 2022, right after the pandemic and the lockdown. Before the pandemic, India was the largest, fastest growing economy on the planet. After the pandemic, India is the fastest growing economy on the planet. Next slide, please. Amrit Kal, or the golden period of the next 25 years, is a roadmap, a vision and mission of the Honorable Prime Minister for India at 100. By 2047, India is on its way to become a beacon of stability and economic growth. India's nominal GDP is projected to reach $32 trillion, making India the second largest economy in the world. The per capita is projected to grow 10 times to $20,000. India is emerging as the most attractive business destination, with both FDI and exports likely to grow at 12 times, respectively. The cornerstone of this growth, ladies and gentlemen, will be the burgeoning middle class and India's largest and youngest working population. Next slide, please. Coupled with the favorable economic and demographic dividend, the accelerated trajectory of this growth is on the key business reforms undertaken by the Government of India. For example, the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, which has an outlay of $26 billion across 14 key sectors, creating national champions in manufacturing to create jobs of more than 6 million and an additional production capacity of $341 billion in the next 5 years. The Semicon India mission, for example, has been launched with an outlay of $10 billion. The program aims to provide financial support to companies investing in semiconductors, display manufacturing, and design ecosystems. This will also serve to pave the way for India's growing presence in global electronics value chains. PM Gati Shakti, a GIS-based technology platform that aims to improve multimodal connectivity, logistics efficiency, and ensure seamless movement of goods and services, thereby making local manufacturers globally competitive, boosting the virtuous cycle of higher investments, growth, and generating more employment, and enhancing the living and the cost of doing business. Next slide, please. The ease of doing business is at the core of Government of India's efforts, and all our policies are structured around that framework. India has jumped 79 positions in rank over the last 5 years in World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking. It is also among the top 5 countries for ease of starting a new business. The National Single Window System, esteemed guests, is a one-stop digital platform for seamless approvals sought by the investor from the government. It acts as an online interface to identify, apply, and track approvals across. It offers a GIS-based repository of industrial-grade land bank for investors. Aimed at decarbonizing India, as my colleague from NIIF also mentioned, is achieving net zero vision. The National Hydrogen Mission is focused on the development of green hydrogen production capacity of at least 5 million metric tons per annum, with an associated renewable energy capacity addition of about 125 gigawatts in the country, with an initial outlay of about $2 billion. Next slide, please. This economic growth has been further catapulted to newer heights because of the emphasis that the Government of India has laid on developing quality infrastructure. India has one of the largest rail networks of over 70,000 kilometers in the Asian continent, serving over 8 billion people. It essentially means we carry the world on our railways. We have the vision to serve 20 billion people by 2047. The road network in India, ladies and gentlemen, is being constantly developed in terms of capacity. India ranks number 2 in terms of the road network globally and is projected to grow twice its size by 2047. The Indian ports, as you know, have been a critical contributor in our rich history and have only been realized more so in recent times because of the major port development projects currently undergoing, handling a capacity of 2,500 million metric ton per annum and expected to grow 4 times over the next 2 decades. The aviation sector has also grown considerably with over 200 million trips per annum, with an expected 7-fold increase by 2047. The fast-paced development of infrastructure has led to the creation of industrial corridors, driving industrial efficiency, which have been developed to promote greenfield industrial cities in India with world-class infrastructure. The program is aimed at providing multimodal connectivity with complete plug-and-play infrastructure till the plot level, along with building resilient and sustainable future-ready cities. These corridors are spread across India with a strategic focus on inclusive development while positioning India as a strong player in global supply chains. India's booming infrastructure, coupled with the robust startup ecosystem, has also been a significant beneficiary for institutional capital coming from global fund managers. India witnessed a 3.8 times growth in 2021 to reach $39 billion in capital deployed, while the global growth was only 1.9 times. The average exit deal size was about $266 million in 2021, with about 11 deals being over $1 billion, which is the highest ever deal size. 2022 also witnessed a year-on-year surge in total fund size of new VCs launched. LPs are participating in more direct deals, in more co-investment deals, thereby improving the capital for larger deals in India. There's a higher focus on ESG, whereby assets under management of ESG funds rose from $275 million by 150% to $650 million in 2021. The access to market and enabling a global interface has been possible because of the Digital India program launched by the Honorable Prime Minister in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, we have over 1 billion mobile phone users, 1.4 billion people with a unique identification number. We consume more capita data than the US and China combined, which makes us the #1 in global per capita data consumption. And there has been a 30 times reduction in data costs, which positions India in one of the lowest, most price competitive markets globally. As I mentioned, we have 1.2 billion mobile phone users with 750 million on the smartphone, 850 million internet connections. What's remarkable to note over here is that while China leads the world with the highest number of internet connections, more than 50% of its population is already on the internet. India is the second largest market for mobile internet connections, and only 20% of our population is on internet, which essentially means that that is the size of the untapped potential and the India opportunity. The adoption of the Unified Payment Interface, UPI, has increased manifold in the last few years. In 2021, over 40% of real-time transactions originated in India. At 48 billion, India accounted for the largest number of real-time transactions in the world. This, ladies and gentlemen, is almost 3 times of what China did at 18% and 6.5 times higher than US, Canada, UK, France, and Germany combined. India is the #1 in fintech adoption rate at 87% and is amongst the world's fastest fintech growing market with more than 6,600 fintech startups. 1 out of every 5 startups in unicorns is from fintech. Speaking of startups, Honorable Prime Minister launched the Startup India campaign to create a country of job creators, not job seekers. With more than 98,000 startups across 664 districts in the country, generating employment for over 1 million people, as of 2023, India is the 3rd largest startup ecosystem in the world. Along with the highest number of startups of 80 recognized per day, Indian startups are also known for solving problems across 56 different sectors. We have 108 unicorns with a total valuation north of $340 billion as of October last year. 1 out of every 10 unicorns that attains the status of a unicorn is originated in India, making the country an entrepreneurial powerhouse. To put things in perspective, in 2021, India created a new unicorn every 29 days. In 2022, India created a unicorn every 9 days. India ranks #1 in the Global Innovation Index in the Central and Southern Asia region, jumped 41 positions from 2015 owing to the continuous growth in developing technology solutions such as AI, cloud, mobility, green tech, health tech, so on and so forth. India is also a growing R&D hub. The gross expenditure on research and development by the government has increased more than 3 times in the last few years. India now also stands committed to reduce emissions intensity of its GDP by 45% by 2030 and achieve about 50% cumulative electrical power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel-based energy resources by 2030. India is among the top 5 best performing countries on climate change as per the Climate Change Performance Index, and the government has also announced its aim of reducing 500 gigawatts capacity from non-fossil fuel-based capacity by 2030, net zero emissions by 2070, thereby laying open the green corridor for further investments. Ladies and gentlemen, we're Invest India, we're the National Investment Promotion and the Facilitation Agency of the Government of India. We're the one-stop shop to provide any support to you when you want to bring your businesses to India. right from ideation to execution, business advisory, investment advisory, strategy and implementation, issue resolution, aftercare services, and policy advocacy is our gamut of services. And this is all pro bono. We're under the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, as I had mentioned, in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and we are here to help you. We do look forward to your business. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Tyagi. We now have our Kuwaiti friends who have invested in India and would like to share their experience with us. First, I would like to call on stage Mr. Dari Al-Badr, Chairman of Asia Investment, to share his experience.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present to you today on behalf of Asia Investments and share with you some of our experiences of investing in India. For those of you that are not aware, Asia was formed in 2005 by a mere decree. Our founding shareholders included the Kuwait Investment Authority, National Investment Company, and Ghanim Industries. We started investing in India in 2006. We soon realized that investing in China, we're formerly known as Kuwait China Investment Company, but soon realized that the scope of investment is broader than just investing in China, and so we rebranded as Asia Investment Capital. Today we have two main investments in India. One is exposed to the hospitality space, and the other is in the natural gas distribution space. I thank the ladies and gentlemen before me in kind of going over the main drivers of investing in India, so I won't repeat all the positive things that we see, but we're very comfortable with where our positions, where our investments are positioned today. The two main drivers that I think kind of affect our investments going forward would be the transition to clean fuels and natural gas. We're seeing an increase in the use of natural gas in terms of the energy basket. Also, the increase in business activity and in the development of urban centers is a positive development for our kind of investment in hotels. Investing in emerging markets, of course, comes with challenges, and so it's not surprised that some of these exist in India. As a board, we've always been conscious of currency risks. Compared to Kuwait, interest rates have always been higher in India. Inflation rates have always been higher. So these are things that we have to manage and factor into our business models. Also, India is a large territory. The states have different rules and regulations. So we work with strong local partners and use the help of consultants and local advisors to help us navigate through the maze of the rules and regulation. However, we believe that as an investment company, we're uniquely positioned to benefit from the arbitrage between private and public markets. And as you'll see later on, we have one of our companies that's being listed as we speak. The next few minutes, I'll kind of dive into kind of the two areas that we're kind of invested in. These are pictures of our kind of hotel properties in India. And back in 2008, the company invested in a greenfield project to develop 8 business hotels in India, of which 6 have been built, and we have 2 kind of prime parcels of land that are yet to be developed. The investment went through it turns out that we weren't the only ones that made the investment at that time. There was a lot of investment that went into the hospitality sector, and by the time that our hotels were built, we had to manage through kind of a period of excess supply. In 2017, the board decided to kind of take control of the company, and we restructured the capital twice. We changed the management company. We invested a lot in CapEx. We had to go through COVID and lockdowns, but I'm happy to report that today in 2022, we emerged on the other side, seeing a market that's much more balanced in terms of demand and supply. We've seen the rates increase in terms of kind of daily rates in our hotels. With the increase of, driven mostly by domestic travels. Our properties are in 5 different cities in India, in Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Pune, Hyderabad, and Chennai. This is just kind of another summary of our slides. I'm going to spend a few minutes just showing you, kind of do a little show and tell. This is our property in Jaipur. Jaipur is known as a popular winter destination. It's always kind of fully booked for weddings in the winter. It's a very nice property to visit. Fairfield Marriott in Hyderabad is one of our crown jewels. Hyderabad is known as a city with a IT hub. A lot of multinationals have their companies based in Hyderabad. Kirby, that's presenting after me, their head offices are also in Hyderabad. Our other crown jewel is in Pune, the 4 Points in Pune. Pune is known as being a hub for auto manufacturing. It's one of our best properties. Ahmedabad is another city where we operate. It's in the state of Gujarat and one of the biggest cities there. I remember visiting Ahmedabad back when I used to work for Al Ghanim Industries to visit IIT, the university. So it's a very thriving, growing city. And fun fact, it also has the largest cricket stadium in the world next to our property. We have 2 other properties in India, both in Chennai, one in OMR, and the other in MWNC. Chennai is known as having also kind of a thriving business community. Late last year and earlier this year, we made a series of announcements. We signed a merger agreement with a larger private hospitality group that's conditional on doing a public listing. So we're hoping to get these approvals by the end of the year. As part of a larger hospitality group, we feel that we benefit from economies of scale and also from the network effects of having 30 different hotels. We would be a top 5 player in India. Next, I'm going to go into some of our natural gas distribution business. So we're the largest shareholder in what used to be a Philippine construction company that's relocated to Singapore, known as AGMP, Atlantic Gulf and Pacific. AGMP has now transformed and entered into the natural gas distribution business. They invested in, along with Japanese and American partners, in AGMP Pratham. We have over 12 concessions in a territory that has 80 million population, and for a period of 25 years we have exclusivity in terms of building out the infrastructure and marketing natural gas in those areas. The thesis for natural gas, as was mentioned before, there's a trend towards moving towards clean fuels. Today in India, the share of natural gas is 6% of the energy basket, looking to grow to 15% over the next 10 years. This compares to 20 to 25% in other developed markets. These are the kind of territories where we operate in. Over the next 3 to 4 years, we plan on kind of laying out the infrastructure to all these areas, building gas stations, connecting to different households in those territories, and then kind of distributing the gas. This is a picture of one of the gas stations that we have. We're projected to build over 1,500 gas stations. Today, we have 200 gas stations that operate in our territories. We're due to connect 10 million homes in this area that we operate. It takes a lot of pipes. We have 17,000 kilometers of pipes that we're due to lay. So far, we've done 2,000 kilometers of pipe. So I would say we're roughly 10 to 20% of our execution in terms of the business plan here. And there's a lot of hard work ahead of us in terms of fundraising and building out the infrastructure. But we're very excited about this opportunity. We also kind of distribute gas to our industrial partners. Just in the last year, from January to January, we've distributed over 20,000 metric tons of LNG. So we're excited about the opportunity that India has to present. Very also happy to learn about all the positive developments that the government is doing in India, and we look forward to kind of better things to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call Mr. James Minato, Vice President, Kirby Building Systems, Al Ghanim Industries, to share his experience of investing in India.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Namaste. Fellow Your Excellencies, dignitaries, and dear guests, I'm here just to share with you our experience in India. We are not new to India. Indeed, we have been in India for the last 25 years. And for Al Ghanim Industry and Kirby Building System, maybe this is one of the most successful investment story for our Kirby. But before I start this, just a quick overview of who we are. Okay, where should I turn it on? Okay, very good. Al Ghanim Industry. Al Ghanim Industry is over 200 plus years old company, started in Kuwait in the early 18th century, and stage by stage we have transformed. In the 1900, in the late 1800, early 1900, we started as a trader, as a merchant, and I believe, most of the trading was back and forth with the Indian, sub-Indian continent. In 1920, we got into the petrochemical. 1930s, we started our commercial pursuit. So we expanded the business in construction, in the automobiles, and in the manufactured packaged good and support services. And here comes, in the 1970s, we started running the business using a truly managed structure. And in 2000, we shifted our focus into the continuous improvement, operational excellence, and that's where we start seeing the opportunities all across. Okay. So today we are a conglomerate where we operate over 13,000 employees. We are over 67 different nationalities, well diversified. We represent over 500 plus brands, and we have a business in the 4 key business segments. We are into the automotive here in Kuwait. I think everybody, all the Kuwaiti participants know what kind of coverage of automotive we have. We are in the retail and distribution, electronics, Excite, and so on. We are in the industrial, and I'm representing the industrial because that's what our investment was mostly in India, is in the industrial sector, and all other normal services in terms of insurance, travels. And a picture worth 1,000 words. We are in the Middle East, we are in the India, and the Asian, and in Asia. I don't know where, is it a latency or something? Okay, very good. And under industrial, we have 2 major groups. Al Ghanim Engineering, we are into all kind of electromechanical and its accessory support services, and Kirby Building System. Kirby Building System is nothing except we are into the construction solution using the metal. We are any construction, whether it is, except for the residential, we do all kind of construction in steel structure. Okay, very good. Just a journey of the Kirby Building System. In 1975, our current chairman, Sir Qutaiba Al Ghanim, has purchased all the assets of what you call Kirby Building System, which is a US-based company that supply the steel buildings, pre-engineered metal steel building. So we brought this technology into the region in 1975, and in 1985 we have done some kind of a transaction where we have the right to cover the whole world except the US territory to market the Kirby Building System. And here comes the story. In 2000, we have a vision. The Indian continent is growing, and we decided in order to the same success story that we have done in 1975 in the Gulf. We took this industry into the subcontinent India, and we started our first 100,000 metric ton plant in Hyderabad. And in 2007, we have inaugurated another plant in Ras Al Khaimah. In 2008, we have inaugurated another plant also in 2006. We seen the opportunity after 6 years, the growth in the Indian subcontinent. We have inaugurated another 1,000 metric ton plant in the northern part of India in Haridwar. So you could tell in 6 years we have doubled our capacity in the Indian continent. And in 2007 we went into UAE, increased also in the Gulf area. In 2008 we went into the Southeast Asia, and 2013 commissioned what we call the Global Center of Engineering Excellence, located in Hyderabad, in Tech City in India. You have seen, you could see the potential over there. I mean, whether you see our business consists of a technology. Technology in the sense you have to have the most optimized engineering, and the resources over there has driven us in order to create a center of engineering excellence. Today, proudly, I can cite for you that we have over 500 engineers, technician operating in Hyderabad in the tech city and supporting globally all of our technical services. So why India? Like whenever they told me, what can you say? I have 3 bullets on India. Since 2000 until now, it is the ease of doing business. For example, we have started, whenever we went to India, it is a one single shop stop. You want to get, in the construction industry, you need to get permits, you need to get environmental permit, you need to have all the electric, the water, the utility, and everything. We go ahead and submit to one authority, and in no time, they provide you all the approval required. Utility is over there, and recent expansion is the greatest and the most, that's what we say. We have broke ground in October 2021. We have commissioned the plant in December 2002. And we have inaugurated our plant recently in early 2023. It is a state-of-the-art plant. Why would we say that? Because it has the first platinum green building certification, where not only it is the automation, it is the responsibility to ensure you have a proper, environmentally friendly, equipped plant. The business in India, is there a business in India? I tell you what, it's just a little bit a key of our customer in various sectors, whether it is a pharmaceutical, whether it is in the auto industry, it is the e-commerce, it is in the building material, food and beverage, general engineering, infrastructure, and textile. And in 2013, whenever we have done our storage building solution, you could see we were the leader in providing all kind of support to the e-commerce industry. In India, as we speak, we have done not only the building and the racking solution for most of the Amazon, in addition to the local and all several international. So where we are today, we are globally, we are on the top of the 5 PEB manufacturer in the world. And if we go outside the North American territory, we proudly and modestly claim the number one outside the North America territory. We are providing the consultant engineering, fabrication, and construction services, proudly supporting the India growth by providing sustainable and green construction solution at a faster pace. By the way, you know the difference in the conventional or the masonry versus the steel construction. I mean, it is the speed and the economy. I mean, you can have a building in 1 year, you can commission a building compared, you know, to the masonry construction. Man. We are producing globally over 530,000 metric tons of steel per year, out of which 50% of that goes from our 3 plants in India. Since our inception in 1975 until now, we have done over 90,000 projects, and that reach 70 countries. Just a few pictures of our, you know, I mean, we are the people who completed, you know, most of the India Rail. Since 2000 until now, we have provided most of the India Rail System stations. We have the Indian Green Building Council, and this is a picture of our latest plant in Halol in Gujarat, over 120,000 square meters of land, and where it has been constructed in less than 15 months. From the time it was an idea till the time we were producing a product in it. I'm not gonna go through, I think, you know, all of you has already presented huge opportunity and the economic, but I mean, you could see, we do in the industrial sector, we look at the GDP, and we look at whatever we call at the purchasing manager index. And at both of them, it's nothing except growing year over year. We have seen, you know, like the key investment project. I mean, whenever you hear a automotive, Nissan, Renault, aviation, and Boeing, the technology in Apple, and the food industry. So you see, there's no place to go except in India. That's my presentation. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for sharing the presentation. Now we move towards the panel discussion. However, before that, let us watch a brief video on Make in India.